approve the minutes from meeting 10 and 11. Second. Okay, sure. Roll call.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alcieri. Mr. Antonopoulos. 4. Mr. Donovan. 4. Mr. Grillo. 4. Ms. Jarvis.
4.
Ms. Malinek.
4.
Mr. Bruno.
4. Public hearing of meeting agenda. Yeah. Lane Star.
Lane Stella, very nice presentation, Sean. But I have a few questions, and maybe I'll start on that first. Sorry, my voice is not up to par. Exactly on the SAT scores, how many children are above the state average?
I couldn't tell you specifically the number of students above the state average. I don't have access to those scores right now. I can tell you that our average roughly runs about 45 points short in one area and I think 25 in the other. But as far as specific students, I really
The number of students, I'm not saying actual students, but number of percentage.
I wish I had that data. You know, the SATs, the ACTs, AP results, those are not standard assessments, so that's not something that's part of the presentation. But certainly, I can get that for you, and I'd be happy to share.
Okay, just a
great
great
conversation. Yeah, absolutely, it's a great conversation.
If I'm not mistaken, the new science week was put on in 2001. Anybody can verify that? I can't remember the year. Yeah, the new high school science wing. I think it was 2001. 2001. Okay, we put on a new science wing, but yet when we talked about the part of the science, we said you should learn biology, but yet we have a new science wing put on. Why the score so low then in biology?
So again, all I can say about biology is, you know, it's twofold. So we look at the state average and we see that's extremely low, right? So that's in the low, in the mid-50s. And then we look at ours is way lower than that. The only thing that I can say with regard to biology is simply that the test has never mattered. It has never, and that's one of the reasons we're changing it. Districts across the state struggle because it's an end of course exam, and it means nothing to the students. So they're getting it usually right after Memorial Day weekend, and unfortunately, as much as we try to impress upon them the importance of always wanting to do your best in anything that has your name, they just don't take it seriously because the first year it was done as a field test, and then it was going to count, and then it was no, we're going to field test it again, and here we are, it's never counted, it's going into history and being replaced with a comprehensive test. So it's...
We can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, also, the school district's also based on a grade average. We went from a C to a D, so where is the grade average of our school district according to the state?
Well, the state's not giving us a grade. Various sites, various groups, various organizations rate districts in different ways. All I can tell you is for us to be in a place whereby we've been QSAT, which is the state measure of success for a district, and to have had that done every 6 months since September of 2015, to be now at September of 2017 and having the person at the state level who's in charge of all QSAC work or QSAC certification being done at the county level, for her to waive our visit is definitely a sign that the state feels very confident in the direction that we're going.
What was our grade then for last year? They must have given you a grade.
We don't get grades. All I can tell you is we get percentages. And right now our percentages are 100% in all areas, except in the area of the math and ELA achievement, which stays in the 2013-14 range, which again I believe is in the 78th percentile. We needed 80. But that will not change until they start looking at different assessment results.
Okay, it's a year ago since we did the referendum and it was passed with the upgrade of all the schools. Now, wasn't all the paperwork all together with all that you could already put the bids out? You're already a year past everything.
Yeah, so it's really interesting, right? Everybody, November 8th, I think last year, they expected shovels in the ground, right? It takes a long time to even get access to that money. So I don't know the ins and outs of it. Maybe, our attorney can tell you more about that. But it takes a long time for the money to even be accessible. Plus, once you get the go-ahead, you have tons of testing, and that was all done last year. Soil tests, land tests, water tests, air tests. There's so much of that prelude that needs to be
Talking about
done.
the 19 million, not the other million.
No, this is what I'm speaking about. So your referendum are your plans that if it gets passed, this is what you can get going on. But all of those other aspects need to happen before you can in fact do any construction. So we really needed to get all that in place and to have access to the money to be able to pay people to do that. Nick, what is the time?
Typically, you have that kind of time frame where you have a number of months, even a year, sometimes a year and a half, before you really get the money. Because a lot of times what you have is you need to get the testing done, you have the money before the referendum. So now that you have the money that's going to come in, you can start doing the testing and planning for your project. And it looks like you guys are right on track to working on this project.
Yeah, but the high school now, the junior high, which is a redevelopment from the town, already has a $53 million in TAP.
That's a township side. That has nothing to do with us. I'm grateful that they're involving us in all of the conversations when it comes to the educational programming, because it's important that we have continuity. But with regard to anything else, I would have to defer you to the township.
Okay. Number 10. What is it? Your finance facilities. Number 10, it says about maintenance activities of your 3-year maintenance program for public school facilities. So do you like to know what that is? Number 10. I hear it's number of pages, so
Page four, on the top,
is it like
on the top.
in the statement part? Okay.
No, it's not, it's the other side.
You know, it's
Oh,
4 is over here.
or is it?
Do you like me on what that's all about? The comprehensive maintenance plan for
Yes.
the school?
The maintenance plan is a 3-year projection of the cost to maintain the current facilities that we have and to keep things moving forward. So that plan is comprised of, from the architecture side, what might need to be done to improve facilities moving forward, and what we need to maintain what we have so nothing deteriorates as we move forward. So that plan is required by the state, goes to the county for approval, and then we move on from that point. But basically, just gives us a projection for the next 3 years out, what we can do internally to maintain our facilities that we currently have.
Now, you have them already, copies available, you should be attaching them to your agenda.
I can get you copies, no problem.
Okay, let's talk about that later. All right, on page 5, number 11. These are merit goals for Shauna. What were the school board's goals and objectives for the district? Goals and objectives for the district. What was the school board given to the superintendent that she's evaluated on? Just bring me up to date on that, please. Because the merit is totally different.
It is.
than goals
Thank you
and
for
objectives.
understanding that. Yeah, absolutely. So the merit things are all the side things, right? So certainly a vast amount of my performance has to do with that's curriculum related and student achievement. Also the advances in special services, because that's very important to this board as well. They're seeking to make sure that as many students in district can remain in district and we continue to service them. So some areas that I also am evaluated on are communication, communication to the community, fiscal involvement, awareness. And those were two, that area specific, we spoke about at length last year because that was an area that I think I could definitely improve upon. So we've used a lot of time exploring the connectivity between the superintendent and the business office, and that's why I'm really grateful to be working with Mr. Bisick now, because him having a background in education really allows us to, forge those two areas together. And I think ultimately a budget can't just be about numbers. It has to be something that anyone could look at and without any additional information, understand what a district's all about, what a district values, what a district focuses on, and what a district deems very significant and important. So for me, that was another area that was a specific goal. And then certainly the referendum and staying on track and continuing with that. That again is another very, very important area that I'm evaluated and monitored frequently on. Yeah.
Okay, page 23. Ethical leadership consultants canceling the contract to provide consulting services effective October 31st. Please explain that.
Ethical leadership consultants, I'm sorry, I was just getting to it, was the name of the group that the previous interim assistant superintendent, Dr. James Carino, was involved with. And originally it was planned that he would stay on as a consultant this year, and it was decided that agreement would be dissolved.
Okay, so you got the doctor of necessity,
Mm-hmm.
and you also know about the ethics laws, and you know about conflict of interest laws, you know about open laws, you know about open public meeting act laws, correct? You all know that, right? Because even if you don't have a written down policy, you do know that when you're sworn in under 18A, that's what the rules are. I also noticed that new business, Christopher Musto, has resigned from being ward trustee. Now, you're going to replace him because you only have so many days that you have to do that.
So the interesting thing is that notification, we were on the phone with the attorney's office today at 5:15. That notification came to us at 4:50 today. That's when receipt of that letter came in. So we wanted to make sure that we, on behalf of Mr. Musto, got the resignation in, and we will definitely be conferring with the attorneys as to our next steps.
Well, there is laws by the steps that you have to abide by.
Correct.
Okay. Also, I noticed that you have a personnel committee. Just want to know, is anybody related to anybody that's being hired? Okay, I'll be back for non-agenda.
Thank you.
Finance, Facilities, and District Planning. Mr. Grillo?
Any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of Finance, Facility, and District Planning Committee may so indicate now, and a separate motion for each of the accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, I move that 1 through 12 be adopted.
Roll call.
Ms. Alcieri.
Four.
Mr. Antonopoulos.
4.
Mr. Donovan.
4.
Mr. Grillo.
4.
Ms. Jarvis. Ms. Malinick. Mr. Bruno.
4. Education and Curriculum. Sue?
Any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of Education and Curriculum Committee may so indicate now, and a separate motion for each of the accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, I make a motion that 1 to 13 be accepted.
Second.
Ms. Alcieri.
4.
Mr. Antonopoulos.
4.
Mr. Donovan.
4.
Mr. Grillo. 4. Ms. Jarvis.
4.
Mr. Malinick.
4.
Mr. Bruno.
4. Policy, rules, regulations. Jim?
Any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of policies, rules, and regulations committee may so indicate now, and a separate motion for each of the accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, make a motion to accept numbers 1 through 6.
Roll call.
Ms. Alcieri.
4.
Mr. Antonopoulos.
4.
Mr. Donovan.
4.
Mr. Grillo. 4. Ms. Jarvis.
4.
Ms. Malinick.
4.
Mr. Bruno.
4. Any new business? Sure, you want to do it, or should we move it on?
Any board member who,
Yeah.
any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of new business may so indicate now in separate motion for each of the accepted actions. Motion made for item number 1, 2, 3.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Alcieri.
4.
Mr. Antonopoulos.
4.
Mr. Donovan.
Question, where's number 2 on the sheet?
It's a separate.
Separate.
4.
Mr. Grillo.
4.
Ms. Jarvis.
4.
Ms. Malinick.
4.
Mr. Bruno.
4.
Personnel. Any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of personnel may so indicate now in a separate motion for each of the accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, I make a motion that numbers 1 to 24 be accepted.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Alcieri.
4.
Mr. Antonopoulos.
4.
Mr. Donovan.
4.
Mr. Grillo. 4. Ms. Jarvis.
4.
Ms. Malinick.
4.
Mr. Bruno.
4. Non-agenda items. Oh, yes, we have a letter.
So we made mention about Mr. Musso's resignation, and I thought it only right that I share with you the letter that he submitted to me this afternoon. After careful consideration, it is with great regret and sadness that I must inform you that I'm resigning from the position of Board of Education trustee. This past summer, I decided not to seek another term in the November election. The reason for this was mainly due to my increased responsibilities at work and potential for relocation. I've missed meetings in the past few months as a direct result of work-related travel and a difficult work schedule. In addition to missing board meetings and not being able to give my 100% to the district and community, my family has suffered as well. My children had a multitude of events that I've missed and moments that I can never replace. I do hope that you accept my apologies as I had not anticipated this increased workload when I began this endeavor. As I look back on my nearly 6.5 years on the Board of Education, I do so fondly. I believe as a collective team, we have accomplished great things and set a plan in motion that will not only improve our community, but serve the children of Lyndhurst for decades to come. I've been fortunate to work alongside some great administrators, teachers, and facilities personnel to make improvements wherever possible and to always care for our children. From safety enhancements to new computers to a new memorial campus, and of course, to peanut allergy reform, I was honored that the people trusted in me to serve the children and the citizens of Lyndhurst. I do wish you the best as you continue to make positive changes and lead our school district during this exciting time. Thank you, Christopher R. Musta.
I think we have the aides, lunch aides. Come on up. Sure, why not? Someone speaking? Or shall I speak? First, I want to say, I want all of you to know, and everyone that's not here to know, how much we appreciate what you people do. During the lunch hour, it's just a madhouse, and trying to keep the children under control and then send them back to class in a good frame of mind is unbelievably important, and really not too many people understand what you go through during the lunch hour. And it is the board's pleasure to let you know that there is a lot of stuff being considered, and as soon as this man right here, our new business administrator, works out the numbers, there are going to be things set in place I think that you're really going to appreciate, and if not, you let us know and we'll work to do what we can. But I feel positive that you're going to be very happy what's coming down the road. Okay, so just bear with us until we find everything that's going on with Scott, and we will definitely be back to you. And if not, make sure you send a representative here to keep us in line until we keep our promise to you. Okay? We thank you again. Does anyone like to say anything?
I would like to say thank you from all of us because we've never got recognized as long as I've been here in 10 years. This is the first time that we consider ourselves a little bit of a staff. Because we were told many years ago, we're not staff.
Oh, yes, you are.
Well, you are to this board, and we thank you very, very much. You are quite welcome.
Thank you for coming.
15. Anything else?
Guys, should have asked if they're going to start in January. Instead of waiting until December.
Elaine, on agenda?
Really?
Exactly, who is your custodian was? And the school board. You usually have a assigned person who's custodian of the records, if somebody requests to take over.
The school business administrator.
So it's Mr. Scott, I'm Mrs. Scott, I'm Mrs. Elnett, and you can meet each other. Okay, I'm gonna go over the fact that I offered a lot of stuff back on October 3rd, and I guess for just copies, and I was told that I had to pay $1,994.20 to get approximately 21 information, which was only for copies. Is this your practice for communication to the public? Because you know the rules are just copies. It's only 7 cents. So why would it cost $30.68 to somebody to fill this when there's a custodian person that overlooks this with the town that we can charge?
It's not just copies, it's gathering all the information on your entire list of requirements that you have, roughly 21 different items. That takes time out of my full-time staff to gather, put together, scan, and then
That's
get
what
sent to you.
7 cents is for, per copy. So you.
That's not how it works. No, it's not. We have to gather the information. Based on that, I'm entitled to charge the lowest hourly rate for my staff to gather the information.
$30.68 is your lowest hourly rate.
That's correct.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I just want to put it on record that I brought it to your attention, because usually when you proceed forward, they always ask us to make sure, brought to your attention, to let you know that this was above and beyond what should have been done. Thank you.
Have a motion to adjourn? Second? Oh, Ms. Mallon, thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
Kelly, I'm thinking that you're thinking it's L'Oreal.